Judge, your remarks and your poem have left me with a heavy heart as we reflect on those names and that roll call. I want to thank first all who made this event possible today, those who've worked hard to bring together different generations, different people from different places, all here to celebrate one thing and to reflect on those who are not here with us today. In that reflection, I look out on the gently waving flags here at this National Memorial Cemetery, those who sacrificed so that we could join together here today. Reflect on the strength represented by the 25th Infantry Division, Huiha's performance, the diversity that that represents, and the full circle of the story that they shared, of today's warriors respecting the culture and values of our past and our present and our future. And our young leaders of tomorrow, Youth Challenge, who will be graduating next month. Stick it out, congratulations in advance. Thumbs up. Today, on this 14th annual Roll Call of Honor, we recognize the many contributions made by our Pacific American veterans, going all the way back to the Civil War at the Battle of Gettysburg. Memorial Day gives us an opportunity to remember them, to honor them, to remember our friends and honor them. We also have the opportunity to remember the many heroes who have roots here in Hawaii, who risked and gave their lives in the service of our country, including people like our beloved Senator Dan Inouye, First Lieutenant Nainoa Ho, or Spec 5 Kimo Gabriel, the first Green Beret and the first Hawaiian killed in Vietnam. We remember Private First Class Herbert Pilili'au, who was killed in Korea, members of the 442 Regimental Combat Team and 100th Infantry Battalion, or Staff Sergeant Matthew Suzuki, a Tropic Lightning soldier who was killed in Afghanistan and whose grave I visited at Arlington Cemetery's Section 60 just a few days ago. I remember some of my friends who served in the 29th Brigade Combat Team, Sergeant Dyson Cariaga, or Staff Sergeant Frank Tia'i, who did not come home with us. So on this day and in this place, Hawaii and the many strains of Pacific heritage converge, embodying a long history of proud warrior traditions and strong leadership, led most notably by our great King Kamehameha. It's a day of mixed emotions, because it's a day that we remember those names, we remember those faces of our friends, and we conduct this roll call in our own minds. We remember who we served with, and we remember those who did not get on that plane for that journey home. Those who one day we joked around with, eating lunch at Chow, and who the next day were gone. I'll never forget the most impactful roll call I've been present for, when we had our first memorial service during that deployment in Iraq back in 2005. Some of my fellow soldiers who are part of the brigade are here and can appreciate that experience. When we had hundreds of soldiers from the Hawaii Army National Guard's 29th Brigade Combat Team gathered in a memorial service, we paid our respects to the empty boots, the empty helmet and the rifle, representing one of our friends who had passed. And we stood at attention as the first sergeant started calling roll. As he called out names of individuals within his unit, soldiers stood up said, "Here, First Sergeant," name by name. And the First Sergeant called Specialist Cariaga, followed by silence. He called again. Specialist Dyson Cariaga. Silence. And as he called for the last time, Specialist Dyson K. Cariaga. All of us were snapped when we heard the rifle salute, because Specialist Cariaga was no longer with us. So on this day, we're sad because we miss our friends. But we also take this opportunity to strengthen our resolve as we celebrate the lives that they lived and their sacrifice, who they were, their strength, their courage, and their deep love for our country. Our resolve is strengthened as we honor them. We honor their memory. We seek to make them proud and to make sure that every single day their memories are not lost and their sacrifice is remembered. We remember that along with the blessing that we have to have come home, we carry a heavy responsibility. Whether those of us who are veterans or those of us who are here as civilians, this responsibility that we share and carry is one to honor those who have paid that ultimate price and made that ultimate sacrifice. This is a bittersweet day because often around Memorial Day, there's also a lot of hypocrisy. We hear a lot of speeches, mostly from politicians, about how they care about our troops, how we should remember them, remember their sacrifice, and honor them. But then it turns out that it's a lot of lip service. They wake up tomorrow, all those empty words ring hollow and are forgotten. This makes me angry because it's personal. This makes me angry that every year as we gather in places with hallowed ground like this, paying tribute to our fallen comrades, we hear noise coming from politicians that sounds a little bit like gratitude, followed by a slashing of benefits for our service members and their families, with veterans young and old languishing as they are told to wait months to receive care. Some will say that we need to be patient, that these things take time. Would that be your response if it was your son or daughter who had been blown up by an IED and who was told upon coming home to wait 6 months to see a doctor? Would that be your response if it was your father who's dying from cancer, awaiting that elusive appointment to get treatment? I think not. Yet this is what's happening right now to our family, our brothers and sisters. So yes, this makes me angry because it is personal. This is our family, and this neglect of our brothers and sisters dishonors their sacrifice. So, on days like today, we strengthen our resolve. We understand that we must lead by example. We must hold leaders accountable. We must honor the memories of our brothers and sisters who never made it home. We must fight for them, fight for those who are here and in need, understanding that the warrior ethos that have been ingrained in our souls and the core of our being are as relevant today as they always have been. I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit, and I will never leave a fallen comrade. We will never leave a fallen comrade. We will not neglect those who are injured, sick, or in need. So as we reflect here today on the specialness of this place and the courage of these people, let us strengthen our resolve to make it so that this day and every day we seize the opportunity to honor our friends, to fight for them, taking advantage of the time and the blessing of health and life that each of us has been granted, by making a positive impact on those around us, standing up and standing together and taking action. Mahalo nui loa. Thank you very much.
Thank you.